What is going on, everybody? It's Georgia Bulldog Will here. I'm recapping Saturday's Georgia Tech game, annual clean old fashioned hate rivalry game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Close one. It was a very close game. I feel like Georgia really just did not really. They weren't really trying to dominate in that game. Georgia beat Georgia Tech 31-23 in Atlanta. I mean, yeah, Georgia won, but it's like, you would have expected a little more, but I mean, I think they're just really getting geared up for what's ahead of them, and that's Alabama in the SEC championship. So that's probably why they weren't really as dominant as they usually are. And yeah, they didn't play, they didn't have Brock Bowers, they didn't have Ladd McConkey in the game, so, that's another point. But I think the offense did pretty solid. The defense was getting a workout in. Like, seriously, the defense was really getting a workout in. The Georgia Tech was really giving the Georgia defense some hard time. They were giving them a hard time, but in the end, Georgia ends up winning because the offense did pretty well. Let's see. Carson Beck, he threw a touchdown pass to Dominic Lovett. Then we just had Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton getting rushing touchdowns. Dejon got 1, Kendall got 2, and then Peyton Wondering making a field goal. That's pretty much all that Georgia needed to beat Georgia Tech on Saturday in Atlanta. Georgia wins. They secure another undefeated regular season. I say regular season. Third straight undefeated regular season. And, things are looking pretty good for Georgia. They play Alabama on Saturday in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the SEC championship. Alabama kept their season alive with a win over Auburn when they threw a touchdown pass in the final few seconds of the game, which I knew it was going to happen. I was like, "There's no way Alabama loses to Auburn." No way Alabama loses to an Auburn team that lost to New Mexico State at home. Like, seriously, there's no way that would happen. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, there's no way Auburn wins. I mean, Auburn gave him Auburn put up a good fight. I mean, they did the same thing against Georgia this year, but in the end, Alabama did win, and they kept their season alive. But because if they would have entered the SEC championship with 2 losses, then it would have been less. Then they probably wouldn't be going to they wouldn't have a chance to get to the playoffs. But now that they're 11-1, they have a bigger chance to make the playoffs if they beat Georgia on Saturday, which I hope doesn't happen. But we'll see what ends up happening. Georgia. The offense looked good. The defense was kind of shaky. Yeah, the defense kind of just they took a step back. I mean, it happens. I mean, you're gonna end up you're not gonna be your dominant self all the time. You're gonna be taking a step back once in a while, and it happens. It happens, and it happened against Georgia Tech. But in the end, Georgia won. Georgia Tech has not beaten Georgia in Atlanta since 1999. So it has been a long time, and the last time they beat Georgia was 2016. So, hey, yeah, Georgia was terrible that year. So yeah. GG to the Georgia Tech fans like Christopher McDavitt. Y'all are going to a bowl game. You are going to a bowl game. That is true. So good for you, I guess. But I mean, yeah, everything just looked pretty good on Saturday. But yeah, Georgia's 12-0. They play. Oh my gosh. Georgia's going to play Alabama on Saturday for the SEC championship. See you guys later, and go Dogs.